quarterback competition heating up for the Patriots. They head to Philadelphia to take on Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Hurts of 11th rank on my fantasy quarterback list. That's just the start. Preseason week 2, you're looking at it, full slate. Bengals, Washington Friday, quadruple header on Saturday, another doubleheader Sunday, all live, all right here on NFL Network. And welcome to Good Morning Football, presented to you by Kit Kat. I just ate a Kit Kat. Thank you, Sean O'Hare, for bringing me one.
Yeah, we need more props. More Kit Kat props.
Yeah, I think if you keep bringing me them, they won't send any. I'm just putting that out there. Peter Schrager.
Right. I'll bring some big full-size ones so that you two can get in on it.
The duty-free bars.
You bring the crown.
Yeah.
The Toblerone.
Kit Kat.
I did not share. Kyle Brandt is here. We've got a lot to get to, so it's time for Lead Block.
Lead Block. Lead Block.
Second-year quarterback Jordan Love made his debut for the Packers over the weekend. He got a little dinged up in the process. Love injured his shoulder on a sack and was held out of practice yesterday. Now, according to head coach Matt LaFleur, he's feeling better. He could still play this weekend. NFL Network. There's another quarterback on the Packers roster that we talk about a bit. Aaron Rodgers, once or twice, mentioned him in the show. He was practicing yesterday in Green Bay, and he's been talking as well. Here's what Aaron Rodgers, a reigning MVP, said to Peter King about his relationship with his GM. I leave space and optimism for growth and change, but at this point my focus is just on the football staff and making sure those conversations and communications are right going into the season. Goes on to say the future, who knows what's going to happen. Right now I'm focusing on how special this moment is and this opportunity is. So the preseason underway still. The conversation has to happen here. Can Rodgers' relationship with the Packers be fixed?
Doesn't he feel so zen-like? Like, everything he's saying is just like he's I don't know if he spent some time in the woods with some peyote or what, but he's just...
Maybe so.
I mean, he's just so chill. And he's all about the inner space and the inner calm. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is worried about fixing anything. I think when you're a player and it's the season, it's all about my teammates. It's all about the locker room, the huddle, and my coaches. That's who you're spending all your time with. Look, as a player, you don't have a whole lot of interaction with the front office anyway, so it's not something he's dealing with on a daily basis. But I think Aaron Rodgers, after winning the Super Bowl, the NFL MVP last year, with how well he played, he's like, look, man, I can roll. I know it. You guys know I'm the best in the business right now. He's got a little Ricky Bobby in him right now to go along with the zen.
Well, listen, this zen thing is it's really something, and it's more even than we're saying.
Tell me.
We could do a segment on this show. Is this a made-up quote, or is it something that Rodgers posted on Instagram? These are real on his Instagram story right now. Bruce Lee, calm is a superpower. Then he has a quote from Buddha, what you think, you become. So there's a lot of this going on. It's this like sage burning stage of his career. So
sage burning.
What does that mean? Does that, maybe he's burning a lot of things. What does that mean? Does that mean that like he's just so happy, or is he like trying to stay calm because there's factors that bother him or that he's trying to ignore? The answer to the question, I think there is irreparable damage between he and the GM. That's just my opinion on it. I think he loves his coach, loves his players, loves Green Bay, loves everything. I think he loves Jordan Love. It's perfect. But irreparable damage. And as it pertains to the football this year, I think if Rodgers has some sort of dip, which he usually doesn't, God forbid, if Aaron Rodgers gets injured, I think it could be a wrap. I still think the Packers are the best case scenario for the Packers, outside of them winning Super Bowls and whatnot, is that Jordan Love is fantastic and they move on from him and save all this money and we thank you, Aaron, and we'll trade you off and get a king's ransom for you. I think it's how he plays. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, if he wins another MVP, well, then we got a whole different thing. Then he can't go anywhere. But the football itself, if they're one and done in the playoffs even, if it's just a disappointment, setback season in any regard, I still think that there are people in the building at Green Bay who did not like how he spoke when he showed up to training camp, who don't really love some of the things that he represents, and are probably looking to knife him. I do. Maybe even one person. So I think there's irreparably damage there, but the great football will keep him there. I just don't know how great it has to be.
You know, the Peter King article is really good, and Rodgers opens up, and the more revealing thing was that he said that he went into last season thinking it was his last year with the Packers, which is a revelation that really does help make crystallize this past offseason of all the stuff that in his head, this is going to be it. They drafted my replacement. I don't want to be here. And yet he felt carefree during the season. And once the football started, he really began to love his head coach, his offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, and these players around him. So the Zen thing is almost in conflict with itself. And I'm not a guru or a shaman or a self-help thing, but And the same breath when you're living in the moment and you're at peace with everything, to still have a grudge for the folks upstairs. Like, I almost feel like, just let that go. Like, how much freer would he feel to not have that going on with the guys upstairs? I would almost think he could play even better football to not have that lingering and that toxicity. You know, there's a book I read this summer called Stillness is the Key, and it was all about just the ability to stay still, because I'm always and it spoke to me. And then the second I got a phone call that didn't really go, I completely threw that out, and I was the same person I was. This is all good in the off season. But let's see how Rodgers plays when things are flying and it isn't all peace and love and kumbaya, because at some point he will have to deal with that front office. And it's lingering, it's looming, it's coming, because whether they win the Super Bowl, they don't win the Super Bowl, there is going to be a time where a decision has to be made either by Aaron or that front office, and that is hovering in the distance. I almost wish they nipped it in the bud and got rid of that right now, because as easy as that says, I'm just focusing on football, I'm in a very special place this moment, the fact that that toxicity, that cloud is hovering over this season, and we know that it's finite, I don't know if that's going to bleed so well throughout the season, because there will be adversity during the year. There's conflict already in that building. Can we please address that now before the season starts? I guess not.
Tell me more about this Stillness book. I think Kyle and I would love to. We have lots of follow-up questions.
Yeah, if you were to describe Peter, you'd be like,
Stillness?
well, it's his stillness.
I'm working on it.
It's credit to you.
I worked on it.
Did you get through the book, or are you looking at your phone the whole time?
I worked on it. Well, then Nate quits the show, and I totally go into total tailspin.
Well, I'm sure Mel was letting you have your stillness,
yeah,
too.
Right. I'm sure. A 4.5-year-old. That's it.
Daddy, give me that!
Is this something we're just going to be talking about to talk about it, or do we think throughout this season it's going to creep up this sort of,
that's
what you call this?
Like, can't we just, wouldn't you rather them talk in the same room and at least address it?
No, there's a binary thing.
Let me hear it.
He spoke to King about this, that he was asked, point blank, Gutekunst, what's the deal here? And he always says, look, once it's about ball, it's me and it's the players and the coaches. There's a dichotomy here. Like, those guys, that guy up there has nothing to do with me playing against the Vikings. I think once the season starts, it has even less to do with it. So I do.
Okay throughout the season.
He always is.
Don't you find the stuff with the Clay Matthews over the weekend juvenile and sophomoric, or do you think it's genuine? Like, but like for all of them to get the guys together, let's just all put up that we want Clay Matthews and just put the front office. Like, it's these little jabs that are going to constantly happen. That's not good for the organization.
But here's the problem: like the football is just always great. Like, it really is.
I know.
Sometimes
they're always good.
Silly stuff to get you through camp too. You're sitting there and trying to camp.
But the loaded part of that was that he demanded that Randall Cobb be on the team.
I know.
The GM did not want to do it, did anyway. So now it's like,
I feel like he's going to put up a picture of Travis Jervey tomorrow, and it's going to be like, I need Jervey, like, or I need like any.
I want Tom Crabtree on the team now.
He might be.
I know.
Yeah, and I go back to the Jeopardy thing. He came on our show.
Yeah.
It was awesome that he was promoting it. And let's see the pictures, because they made their announcement here. They said that these are the folks. That's Mike Richards, and that's Mayim Bialik. They're going to be hosting Jeopardy. It's not Rodgers. Now, the Jeopardy thing was a whole other part of this offseason that we didn't even dig into, because the draft stuff happened when it was that he's unhappy. So he's been flirting with, my life after the Packers for years and all these things. But, like, to say you're going to be in the moment, I give him so much credit. If he can mentally focus and just kind of narrow in and get those guys to galvanize around it. But to know that right up there in that office up there, there's someone I have great animosity for, and yet I'm still zen-like, that is a tough thing to, but I guess it works.
What about the Jeopardy thing? Like, do you think that Mayim Bialik is the new Alex Smith? Like, he wasn't picked, he's in the draft room again? You think?
Now he's got a motivation, a chip on his shoulder. That's it.
Okay. Call him his superpower.
Is Kyle right? You're in these buildings, you're on the sidelines, you know the inner workings. Does the front office go away completely during the season, where
they're on the sidelines every day?
You can't imagine something's going to creep up like this?
They're in the hallways, they're in the sidelines. I don't know, I see Tom Brady and Jason Light hugging all the time. Like, there are organizations where Brett Veach and Pat Mahomes go out to lunch. Like, I don't know, is it the most functional thing that the GM and the star quarterback don't even address each other? I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's functional.
Positions
You're
are
a superhero,
Positions are all different. I'll say this. The first time I ever walked into the general manager's office for the New York Giants, Jerry Reese, was the day he cut me.
That's fair.
So, like, as a player, you don't go upstairs. And we used to kind of have a joke back at our old building. If you saw a player coming from upstairs, you were like, oh, well, what's going on up there? What are you doing up there? You're
his
brown nosing with the coach.
But was Eli going up there? This is what we're talking about.
Eli, I mean, you only go upstairs if you're summoned.
I think Aaron wants to go up there. I think Aaron wants to be able to go wherever he wants.
I don't think you want, as a player, you don't voluntarily go upstairs. Like, you go to, it's like going to the principal's office. Hey, coach needs to see you.
Yeah.
All right. Quarterbacks, they're in a different, they have different rules. some of them, you know, you go up to meet with the offensive coordinator, maybe you have, you know, Eli used to meet with Tom Coughlin on Saturdays, but he would always come down to the quarterback room. So then it's all about football. Yeah. You know, it's like Goonies. You know, when you're down here, it's our time. Up there is their time.
Troy's bucket.
It's these two different, like, ethos that are, you know, like, let me be calm and let me be centered, and then, like, scorched earth. If he can master both of them, like you're saying, and both of those can exist where he's motivated by what's going on upstairs and the slights that he feels, but he can also just woosah it. Like, that is...
Maybe he's going full mouth.
That's a nightmare. That's terrifying.
I also see a Jason Lights different. Jason Lights says, oh, you want Antonio Brown? We'll go get him. And Rodgers didn't have that.
Great point. We'll dig into this more throughout the show right here on Good Morning Football. We'll talk Julio's departure with some windows of opportunity opening up, and we'll talk rookies, breakout players. It's all next.